Hello and welcome to Legal Talk. Hi everybody. I hope everybody's past 2 weeks were great. I'm going to do a little update on myself. Happy late Halloween for everyone. Happy late Halloween. What were you guys for Halloween? Because I'm so curious. I know this year was like a huge big deal because of COVID from last year. I know like this year was actually normal Halloween. So yeah, tell me, what were you guys? What were your costumes? I'm so interested to see how creative people get in Halloween. I specifically was Pennywise, and my dog Argos was Georgie, so it was really cute. We took pictures. But yeah, I hope everyone's Halloween was good. I hope everyone was safe and, kept it memorable. And yeah, I threw a Halloween party as well, and that was fun with a few friends. Had a little Getty. It was lots of fun. But yeah, let me know what you guys were for Halloween because I'm interested. Alright, so today we're going to actually be talking about one of my favorite books of all time, and also the idea of having dystopia and utopia, because that's related back to my favorite book. So we're going to be discussing that today. Now, my favorite book is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I can never pronounce his name right, so correct me if I'm wrong. I just can't. The first time I read that book was in high school. It was actually an assigned reading, and I actually like it. I love it. I ended up buying a copy of it from my local bookshop, and I love it. Like, I just love it. I don't know why. I started thinking about it this week, about how, dystopia versus utopia, how that would even work in a person's mind, and how people can be conditioned. I'm not going to ruin the book for those of you that haven't read it, but I'm just going to be discussing it just a little bit. It's interesting to see, for those of you that don't know, Utopia is basically an unrealistic place where nothing bad happens, and, you have all your things came true, all your dreams came true, and, you're happy, basically. Now, don't get me wrong, utopia can mean many different things for different people. It's something that is not going to be the same for everybody, because everyone has different desires, different wishes, etc. So, I found that interesting. My idea of a utopia, since we're talking about utopia, is, obviously peace. Me being an immigration lawyer will be awesome. Part of my utopia. No, but honestly, I don't know, because the utopia definition is so vague and wide that you can think of literally anything. Obviously, for me, money's not part of my utopia. I wish actually, there was nothing had to do with money, because who wants to pay for stuff? But not only that, it's just money can lead people to change, and that's the honest truth. We've seen it in movies, we've seen it in reality. We probably know someone who has changed because of getting money. It could be a very bad thing. And then while we're discussing that, another version of my utopia would probably be to help people, because that's what I ultimately want to do. I want to make sure everyone is happy and helped, and those that are immigrants or criminals, I would want to help them. So that's how my utopia would look like. Obviously, people that are listening to this, your utopia would look completely different probably, and that's okay. That's okay, because that's how your utopia looks like. Now, going from that to dystopia, dystopia is basically, we say utopia is, your fantasy land, basically. A dystopia would be a land of suffering, basically suffering. The opposite of utopia, something that, is your worst nightmare almost. Oh, sorry, I tapped on my glasses. But yeah, your worst nightmare. And a great example of this, that another book that I've read and I'm a fan of, and also I watched the series, is The Handmaid's Tale. That's the perfect example of a dystopia. So if you guys haven't read that book or watched the show, I 100% recommend it. It's great. But yeah, that's 100%, the right example of a dystopia in the version of the version of the author. So going from that, your dystopia clearly would be miserable, would be, something that you can't even imagine. And, that's just, again, that could mean different things to different people. It's not going to be the same definition. It's not going to be the same world that everyone lives in. But yeah, just looking at these two ideologies, why did those ideologies even exist in the first place? What made people even come up with that? With Aldous Huxley in Brave New World, he talked about conditioning, and it's an interesting topic because how do you know we're not conditioned right now? Obviously, I don't want to bring religion into this because it's not technically about religion, but it's just interesting how people will think that they are conditioned, and that's the honest truth. Some people do think that they're conditioned, and if you think about it, we are all conditioned in one way or another. Whether as growing up, you were taught things by your parents, you were taught things, you were taught morals, you were taught principles. How did those morals and principles even exist in the first place? That's a form of conditioning, even though it's not physically conditioning, telling you to, you have to be, I don't know, an example, sharpen your pencil every time you use it. And then it just becomes a habit and a routine, and then you start being conditioned to that. So, it's not physically, but still mentally, it is a form of conditioning, and that's what the book really talks about, is conditioning. Actually, in the beginning of the book, it provides a great example that I'm not going to share because I don't want to ruin the book. But yeah, I would definitely read that book if you guys get a chance, and if you guys are bookworms like me, please go read that book. I feel like that's something that everyone should be reading at least one time, and yeah. And I just really want to quickly get, your idea of dystopia, your utopia. It might be something personal that you guys don't want to share, but I would love to hear, what's your version of utopia or dystopia, and see if they're similar. Because, like I said, this could really be different for everybody, and I 100% would see that would be different because not everyone thinks the same way or has the same ideology of what their happiness looks like or what their misery looks like. And it's something to think about. It's something to really think about. Now, as far as news this week, because I actually want to do this, or actually just news in general that recently has happened. So, people have gone missing. People have gone missing, unfortunately. And people have been kidnapped. People have been killed. And, unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. And, I feel bad for the families that have to go through that. There's just so many things that, is wrong with the world that, when we're talking about dystopia, utopia, of course, that's not real. It's not something that can be 100% real. And it's not something we can really ever get close to because of the world that we live in. And that's just the truth. However, the world, I feel should always be in the middle of a utopia and dystopia. It shouldn't really be, a lot of misery happening or a lot of happiness happening, because obviously you need a balance in your life. You need a balance in the world. However, as long as, we're in the middle, we're not doing too much of this, too much of that, because doing too much is never good. It's just never good. And, these people that have been killed, these people that have been kidnapped, girls that have been kidnapped, it's sad. It's very, very sad. And I was reading this post the other day, on Instagram actually, about women that shared things that they would do if men didn't exist for a day. And, the answers in this post were so sad And it's not necessarily like, I know I'm changing topics right now because it's a drastic change of topics, but I just want to talk about this really quick. Anyways, going back to the post. But yeah, if men did not exist for 24 hours, I want to hear from my ladies, my listeners. What would you guys do? What would you do for 24 hours if men did not exist? And would you feel safer? Would you feel not safe? Like, I'm curious because obviously, women can do stuff too, don't get me wrong. Men are not the only ones to blame. But let me just see, I'm just gonna read a few of the the comments on this post because I found it very mind-blowing. So one woman said, take a solo trip without the fear of getting kidnapped. And I can kind of relate to that because I went to France. This was 3 years ago. I missed a flight, and that's just a whole other story. But I missed a flight. I was in France, and I didn't feel safe. I was by myself. And I remember, maybe it was just me because I'm an overthinker, but I remember there was a creepy man in the airport. While I was talking to my parents on the phone, there was a creepy man, and he just kept looking at me the whole time. And when you're in a new place, you look obviously like a tourist, and as sad as it is, people do go for tourists, especially in the airport. So I wasn't trying to even look at this guy. I wasn't trying to communicate with him. I wasn't trying to do anything because I want to feel safe, and I know what I'm supposed to do to feel safe. So I ended up walking out the airport to my hotel and everything, and this guy approached me beforehand, and he was trying to talk to me in French, and I don't speak French. So in scenarios like that, I get it. You don't want to have a fear of being kidnapped, and I completely understand. Anyways, next comment. Let me see. Somebody said roam around the city without a bra. That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, there's girls that do that anyways, so that's funny though. Go for a run in the city with my headphones on at night. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. I get it. But honestly, that could be men and women. Women are prone to kidnapping too. They can kidnap somebody if they really wanted to. So I get that. Let me see. Oh, I wouldn't have to spend so much on pepper sprays. Wow. Aren't pepper sprays cheap though? I have one, but it was a gift. But isn't it cheap? I don't know. But I definitely love my pepper spray. I never had to use it, thank God. But every girl should have a pepper spray, literally. Wear whatever I want without the fear of being molested or raped. That is sad. Now, I feel like in the US though, we don't have that issue. In Morocco, when I was living there, we had that issue because people, like I said, people know when you're a tourist based on what you wear, how you act, the way you talk. People can tell if you're a tourist, and that's crazy. That's just that's astonishing to me. I am actually wow, because I know whenever I go to Morocco, I do 100% have to be careful of what I'm wearing, because they will look at you some type of way, and you will attract the wrong attention that you don't want. So yeah, I definitely have to be careful of what I'm wearing, and that's sad. We shouldn't have to do that. We really shouldn't. But like I said, dystopia, utopia, we're in the middle of it, and that's one of the things to go with it. Let me see another thing. Let's see one more comment. We'll get drunk and dance on the road. Okay, that's funny because I would still do that. I would still do that. But hey, to each their own. Getting drunk and, partying and stuff, you just gotta be careful. If you're with the right people and you're partying with the right people, then do your thing. You shouldn't be worried about a man approaching you or anything like that. That's just my opinion. But hey, I get it. Some people don't feel safe when they're in that vulnerable stage, and I completely understand. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to comment on the YouTube video. Please DM me any ideas that you guys have, or even your Halloween costumes. I want to see it. I also want you guys to go follow the Instagram page, okay? Because come on now, we're in the 4th episode now, and I need you guys to follow the Instagram page. I need feedback. So yeah, the Instagram page, legal_talk_pod. That is legal_talk_pod. Please go ahead and follow the page, okay? YouTube, Legal Talk. You guys already know. Like I said, I'm on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm on everything. So there's really no excuse, but please follow me on Instagram, because I really want to know your feedback, and I want to hear about what your version of dystopia is, utopia. How do you guys feel about the news lately? All of it. I want to know comments about, what I said, if men didn't exist for 24 hours. Even men, honestly. For men, I have a question for you guys. What would you do if women didn't exist for 24 hours? How would you guys deal with it? What's something that you would do? I feel like that post hasn't really existed, so I definitely want to know that. But yeah, go ahead, follow all the social media, listen to the episodes. If you haven't listened to the previous episodes, go ahead and listen to it. Alright, you guys, peace out. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye, have a great week.